Hey everybody, it's Brandon from Uncharted Horizons, and on behalf of Nicole and myself, we want to thank you guys for checking out the show. It'll be starting shortly, but I just wanted to let you know where you can keep up with us if you're interested. We're live every Thursday on Twitch at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at Uncharted Horizons PC. The YouTube channel for the show officially exists now under the same name, at Uncharted Horizons PC on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter at UNCH Podcast, and you can find my personal Twitter account at LoveshackYT, and Nicole's personal account at Ellison_712 on Twitter as well. We do post things from the show there, and would love to interact with you guys, so feel free to check us out. As always, new episodes are posted on all places you get your podcasts, about 24 to 48 hours at most after the show airs live, and we'd love to hear from you. As always, thanks for watching, and let's get into the show. Alrighty, we're live. That actually worked seamlessly, which is a little surprising to me, but it worked.
I don't exist, but we are live.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was trying to
Okay, now I exist.
I was trying to enhance the quality of the show for Brian. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 40 of Uncharted Horizons, and it has been a little bit. We took a bit of time off for life arrangements and commitments and such, but really happy to be back here with you. Obviously joined by Nicole, and in the time that we've been away, there has been a very lot? Is that a redundant? Is that like a redundant thing?
A very lot is
There's
accurate.
been a lot of things happening in the world of gaming and movies and everything else in between, and we have a whole smorgasbord of stuff to talk about today, sort of like a re-entry show. So I'm gonna, kind of let Nicole take the reins talking about some of the stuff that we're going to lead off with, and we'll kind of go from there. But first, how have you been? It's been a while. What have you been up to?
I actually stopped existing for these 2 weeks. I only live in a cryo chamber, and now I came back out.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool, actually. I do too, but
Yeah.
we could maybe do more productive things with our time, but I guess this is fine. This is working. So
It's been good. I feel like a lot of games, but not really. I feel like I've seen a million movies since we last did this thing. But it's only been 2 weeks. I don't know how that would be possible. I haven't really played games this week either, which sucks. Like, you ever just think, wow, I really want to play a game later, and then you end up not doing that? That's what I've done all week.
All the time. I honestly didn't know it was possible to be too lazy to want to play a video game sometimes.
Literally. I was just like, I guess I'll scroll on my phone for 3 hours instead of playing a game that I want to play.
Honestly, I downloaded a couple weeks ago a game on my phone that was literally like a puzzle Tetris-style game. It was like a block game, and I put a disgusting amount of hours into it. It's like slide the blocks, eliminate the block, get big number, and it has taken an exceptionally embarrassing amount of my time. But I also did, in the entirety of the time that we've been off, play through all of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, finally. After, talking about it, playing it years ago and only getting like 40 minutes in, if even, widely regarded as one of the best games. Oh, I mean, probably the best game in its genre, in a Metroidvania, but just in general, like, in a lot of people's lists, it's a top 10 game of all time, and, yeah, it was exceptionally well done. It's a super fun game, and really in-depth. I would love a shot-for-shot, like, remake or upgrade, kind of, like, keeping true to what made it so good, but, like, more modernized graphics, because I think you have a lot of people who would look at it as, like, an older game that's, like, 1997 is what, like, 16 years old or something? No, that's not even right. 26 years old, right? 26, that's right. Listen, I don't do math live on the air for that reason. But I think a lot of people were probably, like, discouraged from it or maybe wouldn't give it the chance because it's an older game. And I think really people will be missing out because it's super fun. So it holds up as well as I remember it holding up, and maybe even better. It's definitely frustrating, and the game itself is very breakable because there's like so many different weapon combinations and different things you can do. But it sort of ensures that like no two playthroughs are going to be the same either. That was a lot of fun. That's the only game I've played though between now and the last time we did the show.
Yeah, I pretty much have still only played Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm in the home stretch now, which is exciting. Not that I'm anywhere close to actually being done with the game, just with how large it is, but if I don't beat the main story, then I will never play another game this year, which is just not good, because there's so many games coming out this year. Like, so many. This is a crazy year for games. I think it probably is one of the best, if not the best, as far as the quality of games and how many have come out.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? is it is it Baldur's Gate, I think, is coming out pretty
Yeah,
soon. Baldur's
Baldur's
Gate
Gate
3.
3.
I know some people are pretty excited about that. I think it actually looks pretty good, all things considered. Um, so, a little interested with that. And of course, I'll take a second to gloat here, but Final Fantasy 16 came out, last weekend. By all accounts, it is absolutely stellar in every way. So I'm happy I added that to my draft board, but just in general, from what I've heard, it's definitely going to be worth the play. Uh, the
Yeah,
list is long.
that's one that I'm up in the air about. I'm still obviously finishing Tears of the Kingdom, so I didn't get it at launch. But it seems like if any Final Fantasy is gonna be a game I like, it's gonna be this one, just based on like how different it is and what they've changed about this one is what I typically like to play in games.
Mhm.
But I've also heard that it's like it kinda drags for a bit and everyone's like, yeah, after 10 hours it's fantastic. It's like, do I have to play that long for it to actually be good? Because like if I'm gonna struggle to like be hooked by it early on, then I don't know if that's worth it. But the good thing is hopefully they didn't take down the demo, but I can play the demo and the progress saves and it brings you right up to it's like playing the very beginning of the game. So I'll probably play the demo and like if that doesn't do it for me, then ain't no way I'm spending that much money on it.
Fair enough. I don't know. I know my roommate's playing it, and he immediately, almost right off the bat, loved it. And a lot of people that are in my friend group that have it have been putting ridiculous amounts of time into it. I mean, it looks visually unreal based on what I saw.
Yeah. I'm here for the story, and I've heard that the story hits. So I'm hoping that the stuff in between is fun enough to make me want to keep playing.
I hope so too. I definitely think I'll play that. My roommate said once he finishes it, I can play it on the PS5. So I definitely want to give that a go and get a chance to play that because it does look cool. I mean, I've never really played much in terms of Final Fantasy before, and I don't like it's not turn based, thankfully, because I don't really care for turn based RPGs. It's just not my thing. But I was watching him play. It looks really cool. I definitely think it could be fun. So obviously Brian's comments as well said I'm playing as we speak, and he said the story slaps. So he's had this seems like some high praise and some quality feedback for that. But Final Fantasy on OpenCritic actually has a score of 89%. So I'm gonna happily take that score for
Pretty
the
good.
draft purposes because that's a good one. And given that the other one's not actually coming out anytime soon, I'm pretty happy that we managed that. I went ahead and made that swap. Um, there's just been so much stuff happening. I was just reading the Pikmin 4 comes out in like less than a month, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll be like a day one purchase. I'm really intrigued by Armored Core. I think that's probably going to be one that I pick up. Um, I think did we talk about Mortal Kombat? It's been so long. I think
Yeah, we
it
did.
feels like it's been so long. But the more I see those trailers and stuff, the more that game just looks really hyped too. Brian said Baldur's Gate is turn based. Oh well, that's unfortunate. That's a no for me. But
It seems so. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was one I only started paying attention to today because they posted some like character creator stuff, and I read a description, which is actually bonkers. I'm gonna read it. This is unplanned, but now we're on the topic, it's just I have to read what it was. So it said Dungeons and Dragons is all about player freedom, the freedom to define your character, explore vast territories with your allies, and decide the fate of the world. We've spent the last 6 years bringing the unlimited freedom D&D is known for into the realm of video games. We've written 2 million words of dialogue across the thousands of characters that populate the world of Faerun, with an exhilarating story and in-depth character creation that puts you at the helm of adventure. The dice may define your luck, but you define the story. Like, what? This is Baldur's Gate 3? I was like, what is this game, and why have I not cared or heard about it until now? Obviously, I've heard about the series, and I knew about the game, but, like, what in the world? Like, that's actually insane, and I need to go look up gameplay, because I think it's been in beta and stuff, because I can't picture what this game actually is. It's kind of like Diablo, where, like, people are posting really cool character creator stuff, but then in-game, it's just, like, the zoomed out, like, top down, you're like a little guy, so it doesn't really matter what your character looks like. But then I saw some, like, dialogue with your character and someone else, and it looks fantastic. And, like, if it's really just, like, playing D&D and, like, I just gotta deal with the turn-based bullshit, I could be down for that. Because, Fire Emblem Three Houses was the same thing. I don't like turn-based stuff, like you said, but that game was phenomenal.
Hey
and
everybody,
it's
it's
somewhere in
Brandon
my
from
top
Uncharted
10.
Horizons, and
Not
on
because
behalf
of the
of Nicole and
turn-based, but
myself,
because
we
like
want to
everything
thank you
else
guys
is
for
just
checking
so
out the show.
good that
It'll be
like
starting
I put
shortly,
up
but
with
I
the
just wanted to
turn-based
let you know
stuff.
where you can keep up with us if you're
But
interested.
yeah,
We're
Baldur's
live
Gate.
every Thursday on
I'm
Twitch at
intrigued.
8:30
I'm
p.m.
very
Eastern
intrigued.
Time
That one
at
blurb, I was
Uncharted
like,
Horizons
yes,
PC.
I need to look into
The
this
YouTube
now.
channel for the
We
show
are gone
officially
off the
exists
Twitch.
now under the same name, at Uncharted Horizons PC
Yeah.
on YouTube. You can
After
find
you
us
switch
on
back from
Twitter
the
at
one, we're starting
UNCH.
soon.
Sorry about that. Well, listen, it happened, but that's okay. It's deal with turn-based bullshit. Unsub. No, sorry about that. Everything's hotkeyed and it's all connected, so I don't have to like make a bunch of clunky noise hitting stuff. If you guys know what it's like doing like OBS, like behind the scenes stuff, I really need to get like a Steam Deck. I want to get one, so you know, like the little thing with all the buttons where you can just have that
I
off to
do.
the side. I really want to get one, because I think it's neat and it would be super useful to have. But sorry about the interruption there.
Rude.
I didn't realize it happened. I don't hear it because I have to have the stream
Brayden
muted.
just internally hates turn-based games, so he really just didn't want to talk about Baldur's Gate anymore.
You also hate turn-based games as well. You said you're not a big
yeah,
fan. You can't throw me under the bus.
But
like...
yeah, but I said that the rest of the game can be worth it for me to put up with that, you know?
Okay, alright, fine. Fine. Whatever works.
Yeah, this another thing I saw which made me cringe was featuring 3 times more cinematic dialogue than all 3 Lord of the Rings novels combined.
Oh, that's...
What the fuck? What the fuck? And then a library of more than 600 spells and actions and plenty more. So like the whole premise of that sounds super appealing. Not the Lord of the Rings thing, because if it's anything like the movies, boring. Surprising. I know we could do a Lord of the Rings episode where I'll have nothing to say because I haven't been able to get through one movie because of how long they are.
I'm kind of with you on that because I also have not seen all the Lord of the Rings movies. And obviously, I don't know if you've heard at all about the current chaos with the Magic the Gathering set that just came out for Lord of the Rings. It's a huge thing. There's a one ring card in the set that's currently valued at about $2 million. There's a bounty for it. It's a 1 of 1, so there's only one of it in the world, obviously.
One ring to rule them all.
Yeah, so it's a serialized
Holy
ring.
shit.
I got a box too. The boxes are like $400 for the collector boxes. It comes with like 12 packs, but they're going off the market like crazy. Everyone's kind of scooping them up. So I got into that, but there's a lot of content creators who've been doing it, and basically like the bounty for it was started out at $1 million, and then another shop right now, if you pull the card, the highest bounty I've seen is a shop in Spain is actually offering 2.1 million USD plus a paid trip to Spain, because obviously with a card like that, you'd want to make sure you were doing the exchange, like, in person versus like mailing something.
All I'm hearing is when I go to Target and I see these, I need to buy one.
See, that's what they want you to think, right? So the whole it's a gamble, and obviously there's 3 million. There are 3 million collector boosters out there, and there's only one of the serialized ring card. My point is that like that hype is crazy right now, and like I did on the channel, I cracked up some Lord of the Rings sets, like the booster packs and stuff, and it's fun. I love that like cross brand integration. But I would not call myself a huge fan of the movies. I find them to be like lengthy and kind of too tedious to watch. Admittedly, though, the third movie does have some amazing fight scenes, and it is like a really good movie to watch. But yeah, Brian said you're better off playing the actual lottery. I mean, obviously, granted, the odds of the ring pull are better than the odds of winning the Powerball, but the whole, it's kind of fun, but it's also funny how like a lot of people, even, YouTubers stuff who do like Pokemon and other stuff, are opening up a box of this set. It's like the actual ring, like everyone's looking for it. It's got people mad, hoping to hit, a crazy profit. But it is a cool concept. I hope I pull it, because if I do, then I'll take a trip to Spain and sell it. We could do a show. I'll fly you out there too. You guys, we all go out there, bring a couple friends. We'll do a live show out there on location. But yeah, so I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan per se. I like some of it, but
you think I would be? I love stuff like that, and I love high fantasy, but I think it was because HBO had like the extended cuts, and they're like fucking 5 hours, and I was like, there is no, and I don't fall asleep like normally, like I only sleep when I'm supposed to, like in bed. I don't fall asleep in cars, planes, watching something, and that movie put me to sleep, man. Ugh. I do want to though, because it sounds cool.
I mean, maybe we could do a live stream podcast where we just watch the movies.
Oh god.
We'll just watch all the movies start to finish here on the show. Yeah? Does that work?
Yeah. Yep.
Join us. I'm pretty sure Amazon has that thing where if you rent a movie and you have Twitch Prime, you can stream it to your audience. We'll live react to all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, one after another.
What a waste of our time.
Could you imagine? What is that, like 12 hours of time or something along that
So
line?
long.
That's crazy to me. But yeah, so obviously Baldur's Gate does have some hype. It seems interesting. Someone said in the comments, I like Persona, so I'm lying. I gotta say, Persona 5 is one of my favorite games of all time, but that's the exception to the rule. I don't particularly like turn-based. And it's honestly, it's just not what I've gravitated towards. It's kind of like why I sort of, because is Pokemon considered turn-based? It is, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know the whole game is not exclusively that, but like more often than
That's
not.
another example. It's like that's my least favorite part. Like the ROM versions you can play where they have like the fast forward and stuff, that is so nice because like I'm not trying to do the battles, I'm trying to do everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am right there with you, and it's just Pokemon as a whole is just kind of, I've gone stale on it, but I know a lot of people are still big on it. But yeah, I mean there's so many other things I can think of we haven't even touched on yet. So let's pivot a little to Starfield. They showed a lot more about it at the Bethesda showcase. Obviously, there's been the general consensus from some people has changed a bit, and people are a little bit more intrigued. What do you think? Where do you stand on it? Where do you stand on...
So much more positive after seeing the Starfield Direct, because they literally were like, you want to see the game, like here's the game, and here's a bunch of details, even if you don't want to hear them. I will quickly talk about the stuff that they brought up in case people missed it or they didn't feel like sifting through all of it. Obviously, procedurally generated planets, but that doesn't mean it's not as bad as it sounds, right? Obviously, there's thousands of planets. They can't specifically design all of those. But what they've done is they procedurally generated the planets, but then they have specifically designed content that they're like kind of like puzzle piecing in there. So it's not going to be completely generated. It'll be like, okay, here's this ice planet that got generated, but there's this giant base that somebody specifically built with like a storyline or a quest line there. So like you're still there's still incentive and there's still like unique things to find depending on the planet you go to. They have base building on the planets. That's like a whole entire system, probably similar to what people saw in Fallout if they played that. Ship designing, that also too is a whole system. I can't wait for somebody to make a dick. It's inevitable. Look what happened with Tears of the Kingdom. You can hire a crew for your ship, so that includes like the main NPC characters that you're gonna be meeting in the story, but also like a bunch of other random people and robots, which I think is fun. And they did confirm that there's romance options, which Bethesda, you need those. I know.
I need romance in my
I do. It just takes it up a notch. You know,
game.
if you're doing it's not a planetary exploration game. It's a role playing game. This is a role you're playing, and I want to be with somebody. I want to break their heart and leave them stranded on a planet.
So
yeah, they showed off a bunch of main story planets that they like built from like the ground up, and they look really cool and varied. They show like a Coruscant type one. They showed like space western, and then they showed like the main city that's like very like modern futuristic utopia type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your character has skill trees, which is fun, but they also added a background system, which if you played Cyberpunk, it was kind of like that, even though Cyberpunk didn't really do anything with it. So along with your character's skills, you can pick a background for them. Say you want to pick chef, and that's going to affect your gameplay. So if you're in a scenario where you need to know something about food, like your character's going to have like a specific line of dialogue that mine wouldn't have. So it'll affect quests and your conversations with people, which is just like, I think that's fun. It's another layer of like making this character who you want them to be.
Makes sense.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, do you know if you can take your ship to see the Titanic, or is that an option?
They actually said you shouldn't do that. Turns out it's a bad idea.
It just popped into my head that story dominated the news for the past like week and a half, and we did not have a show. And I mean, I texted you about it a little bit before the craziness started to happen. But as someone who's like, I don't mean to divert you. I want to get back to Starfield, but I just like intrusive thought here. What were your thoughts on this whole thing? And like, is this like one of the. I mean, I don't know much about underwater, that sort of ocean life stuff. I mean, I know that like James Cameron's been to like the deepest point, and they used a different kind of submarine, like a. I
Yeah.
think they said it was like a vertical type submersible,
Idea,
which may
yeah.
be different.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw a picture of it the other day. It was actually pretty cool.
This story is wild, and like the fact that like I know people want to harp on the game controller thing, which I guess is a interesting enough tie-in for me to like touch on this topic briefly. But like they're controlling it with like a Logitech controller, and like it's like a sealed tin can. Like I don't know, you've done scuba diving. I don't know if you've ever been in a sub or been down in the water like that, but like what would possess a person in your mind to like do something like this?
I could honestly never. That is like I was explaining it to my friend. Like you said, I do scuba dive, and my biggest fear is drowning. So it's like, why would you do that? It's all in my control when I'm scuba diving. If anything goes wrong, it is going to be my fault. And if it's not my fault, there are systems in place to make sure that I don't die because you never do it alone. So like my air consumption, all of the like all the testing that gets done, it's scuba diving. Like that's a fucking tried and true recreational and professional activity that like there is standards and there's specific equipment. Like you can't really like things can go wrong, but like I said, if anything that can go wrong would either be my fault or I'd have somebody with me to make sure that I can get back to the surface safely. I would never get into a submarine. Are you kidding me? Disneyland has a Finding Nemo submarine ride where you're like under the water in a submarine, and no, I hated that. That was a 0 out of 10, let alone going down to the Titanic. There's just, yeah, I never would have done that. If I ever get money like that to just go spend $250,000 on a fun thing to do, it's not going to be going in a submarine to visit a gravesite. And another thing I told people is I saw a shipwreck when I was diving, and like, it's cool, I guess, but it's literally rubble. Like it's cool to say you've done it, but like you can't really see much. And especially in their case, I don't even know how they were seeing it on a screen out their little baby porthole. Like just go watch the movie.
No, they had no holes. It was just a monitor. So basically, anything you or I could watch like online is what they're. We could sit there and watch on a screen. It just felt to me like it's probably you got a lot of rich people who have money and want to flex. It's really like it's a dick picturing contest. Like look what I can do.
Yeah, it's like the Jeff Bezos thing. Was that him? The one with the spaceship? Yeah, the fucking hot air balloon. It's like, what are you guys doing? They're literally, they don't have anything else to buy with their money besides doing something that people can't do normally.
I can understand space travel to an extent. I mean, it's obviously like a part of the future of humanity is going to be dependent on space travel at some point in time. And obviously, like, you got to imagine that there's more research done. You don't have just anyone random going to space, usually. I mean, who knows? I'm sure they want to set up fucking tourism in space and all that other stuff. But this was guys spending $250,000 to go see, like you said, a bunch of rubble at the bottom of the ocean. And I ended up on ocean TikTok. I watched so many fucking videos, and I think I sent you a few. There's some spooky creatures down there in the water, like the angler fish and the dragon fish with fucking translucent eyes and fangs and shit. The giant squid. It's a whole thing. But I'm effectively more scared of the ocean now than I was before. Just because, like, I don't know, like, I mean, you could argue that a lot of this was very stupidly done, and they basically had a lot of reports out that the CEO and whatnot had been told this was a bad idea anyway, but, like, I don't know, if James Cameron's been to the site of the Titanic, like, 30 times and been alright, clearly something has to be done with the way these guys tried to cheap out, but it's still sad. There was a kid on board, a 19-year-old kid on board, like, he clearly didn't want to go, like, I don't know. I can't believe how much of that no pun intended, that blew up like all over social media and stuff. It was everywhere. Everyone was talking about the fucking submarine, and then it just turns out it was crazy. And when you really learn more about what happened and what the choices were that they made, it's just like why? Like why?
Yeah, that did surprise me that this was the news story that people decided to like gravitate to, and that was blasted everywhere. It reminded me of like the I don't know if you remember the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie murder from like a year ago, 2 years ago now.
I think it was, or close to it.
Yeah, I still follow some of the reporters from Florida, and I see and it's still an ongoing thing, like with the families. It's nuts. But yeah, it reminded me of that, where just like a random thing that like everyone obsesses over, and I think it's just because it's one of those things where like we don't know what happened yet, and everyone just like wants to know so badly. and that people just get obsessed. And like I get it because like it got me, and I was just like, dang, like I was looking at all the videos too.
So many memes and fucked up jokes. Generation is
So bad.
just a bunch of degenerates.
We're
But
trash people.
yeah, but like I just, I don't know. I mean, part of me can understand the mystique of it. Like, who knows? I mean, I'm not a subscriber in like hauntings and all that shit. I don't buy into that stuff, but that's just me personally. But I don't know. You gotta think there's maybe some kind of like aura or like atmosphere to that thing, and it's
Bermuda
eerie.
Triangle.
Yeah, it's just, but and there's rumors that like there's still a lot of gold on the Titanic. That like when it sank, there was a lot of gold. But like I don't know, it just seems like it's kind of questionable, and it was more so shocking to me how much it blew up because that's what really caused everyone to. And they said that due to the water pressure, those people died so fast their neuro something in their brains couldn't even process what had happened. So at least for them it was quick and painless, but that's insane just to think about that and to learn about how far down the Titanic really was. Like, I don't know. And there's also irony that a ship that crashed on an iceberg and killed a bunch of people was visited by another ship that crashed due to. It's just the whole thing, but it just felt like a bad idea. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to Starfield. I felt like we would have been remiss to not at least like mention that because that was a massive story, and we did not have like any airtime to talk about that. But go ahead, please resume. I didn't mean to derail you.
Starfield. So yeah, you have skill tree in your background, specific dialect choices. They haven't really talked much about what the main story of it's gonna be, besides you joining a group called Constellation and doing space stuff. There's space exploration, so there's battles. A really cool system is you can board and like fucking be a space pirate, so you can like go up to other ships and like board them and steal their shit, and also steal their ship and then register it as your own. So like you can just be a fucking villain out in space if you want to, which is fun. You can also like hail other ships like friendly and just like chat with them and trade or whatever. Yeah, you can design your ship like I said before, and then a big part of the gameplay was them showing off combat a lot, which thank God, because the very early clip that they showed us like a few weeks, months, whatever ago, it looked really slow to me, but this is much faster. It's much faster than Fallout, which is nice. Despite some of the stuff being 0G, it's still fast because you have like a jetpack and stuff. So yeah, they showed off a lot of the combat, all the weapon customization you can do, different types, snipers, all of that. And then at the very, very end of the showcase, they showed off your character using some kind of power. They like put their hand up, and then the enemies they were fighting like started floating in 0G, and then they just fucking ended it there and didn't say shit about it. So magic? I don't know. There's something going on with your character, and I'm here for it because I love that. At least in Skyrim, that there's that choice. So there could be a cool. Obviously, you're the main character. You're probably the chosen one in some way. So it's cool that they tease some kind of ability there at the end. But I'm way more high on it. What are your thoughts, Brayden?
Honestly, I got a chance to look into it a little bit. I will admit that it does sort of look a little bit more intriguing than it did prior. But I'm not really sold. It still just has like that No Man's Sky feel where it's like I've been burned by the concept once, so it's hard to think that I can be burned by it.
I'm not sold either.
That controller is gorgeous.
I'm not.
Oh my god, you bought the headset too, or is that you giving that away? Is that what this is?
No, these are mine.
Oh, darn. Sorry guys, I tried.
They're so nice though. They're so nice.
They are pretty nice.
I would have bought these, have them, like, I just love, like, it's an all-white controller, and then the color scheme of it is, like, the 3 primary colors. Nope.
All white?
Yes. 3 primary colors in orange. Yeah, I don't know. They're just clean. This has a ship noise, when you first turn it on, which I think is fun. It's, like, powering up a spaceship. Yeah, I have a lot of faith in Bethesda, with Skyrim being my favorite game, and I think this could be it.
All right, well, I hope it ends up being good. By the way, my little brother just popped in and said hi there in the chat, highlighted message, so I just wanted to say hi to him. Thanks for checking out the show, bud. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I mean, I'm not out on it or anything. It's just I don't care that much, and I mean, I'm in a position where I don't really have a ton of time to like pick up a lot of stuff at once, and I'm more intrigued by like Armored Core and a few other things I want to get into. I actually I'm gonna start playing Demon's Souls, I think, on PS5 because I really liked Elden Ring, which I still have never finished, and it just eats away at me that I've never finished it because there's like an hour and a half left of the game, and I just want to finish it at this point. But it was I died like 40 times to Malekith, and I was like, I'm over this. Like I can't possibly put myself through the ringer anymore with this. And then my roommate took his PS5 like back in his room, he's using it for streaming and stuff. So I was like, all right, great, I don't have to worry about it. Like fuck this guy. I'm gonna leave him alone. But maybe I'll go back to it at some point. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. I hope it's good. It's not high on my list, and I'm not like I also wonder how well it's gonna work when it drops with the amount, like the size of the game and what they're looking for. Like I have a feeling
fun because they locked it at 30 frames per second so that it does run well.
That feels like it's not the best. Like I don't know, 30 frames per second is not gonna.
It's not, but also I think I think at some point we've decided that 60 frames per second is the standard, so like everyone tries to reach that, and it seems pretty unobtainable. Not obviously, Bethesda's a giant company and they should be able to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen it be promised, and then games have like that not run great. Like Redfall was the most recent example of that, and then they end up not having the performance mode. Obviously, I prefer it, but at the same time, if Starfield specifically locked it at 30 frames and they knew that, it's instead of it breaking and being like, oh shit, let's go back to this, like they know. So like they're working, I don't know, they're like making their game work in the best possible way, which I don't hate.
Well, I mean, it's like I said, it's definitely I'm intrigued, but Bethesda's track record hasn't exactly been great for their past couple of games, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but obviously, you see the magic with Fallout 4 and Skyrim, like they have the potential to do it again.
Yeah, I just worry that, I mean, maybe they did kind of tone it down a little bit, but the biggest thing about this game was like, look how many planets we have, and then obviously they kind of refined that a little bit, so I'm glad they at least, like, you know, gave us a bit more.
They still made it very clear that it's like, hey, this is here, but like, here's your main stuff, here's your main story, here's your main planets that are actually super fleshed out and have all of the quests and fun stuff.
Yeah, alright, no, I mean, it makes sense. I'm into it, like, I'm happy that people are going to have a game that they're going to like in the concept, but I'm not, like, over here super pumped about it, but I do have to say, I saw the controller when you posted it. That is gorgeous. The controller looks really nice.
I like the clear triggers.
It has clear, is it clear on the back?
Yeah, just like the back, what are they called for Xbox? Bumpers, triggers,
okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, the Xbox controller, in my opinion, is the best controller. I like the PS5, but I really like the feel of the Xbox controller. And I just recently got a new one, actually. It's just electric. It's electric yellow, but I like the simplicity of it. That controller, though, was nice. What'd you pay, $70 for that?
I think so.
It wasn't 100, right?
No, not the
okay.
controller.
So I know that they upcharge on the controller sometimes. Weirdly.
Yeah, it was like a little bit more than standard, but that was the same price that the other like special controllers are.
Oh, so
I only have the original Series S one, and my PC can run Starfield, which is really exciting because I don't have a Series X, and I was gonna have to buy one because there was no way in hell I was playing it on the Series S. This will be my computer's probably first real test of what are they called? High I keep wanting to say taxing games, which is like I guess that works, but
consumption maybe, or like I don't know exactly what you'd call the term, but yeah. No, well, I am excited for you, and obviously, hopefully, it's good. And I mean, hey, you didn't think you were gonna like Tears of the Kingdom, and you ended up liking that a lot too. So
yes,
inevitably,
game of the year.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Over Ragnarok?
That wasn't this year, was it? No, that was last year.
Was
this year, Tears of the Kingdom's competing against like Final Fantasy, Starfield, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man.
Why did I think Ragnarok was this year? For some reason, I was thinking the cutoff time, but I thought something came out this year that people were
Hogwarts Legacy, Dead Space.
Yeah, Hogwarts
Spider-Man, Tears of the Kingdom. I think Tears of the Kingdom probably has it. I think its only competition's Final Fantasy. And even then, I haven't seen anyone talking about Final Fantasy on my timeline compared to Tears of the Kingdom. Like, everyone and their mom was playing that game.
Yeah, but it's Zelda. Like, Nintendo... I mean, that's not exactly a fair barometer, because I think there's a lot of hype behind Final Fantasy. I just don't think it has as loud of a reach as Nintendo... Like, Legend of Zelda being what it is. Speaking of which, did you hear that the rumors reports, it's not obviously nothing confirmed, but it seems to be a reputable source, that the whatever the successor is to the Switch will likely be running on hardware equivalent to the PS4 and the Xbox One. That's going to be what the hardware equivalent is. This is unconfirmed, but from a usually reputable source. So obviously it could change, but it will most certainly not be on the level of PS5 and stuff. It's going to be like a gen behind.
So what is this Switch running then? PS3?
I don't know the specifics, but I know that the Switch... Let me see if I could pull up the report real quick, because I do think it was actually really interesting. We were talking about it in my group chat the other day.
I did see that the next version of the Switch reportedly will have profile transfer, which is like the first time Nintendo's done that, I guess.
Yeah.
From generation to generation, because they make all of their games wildly different between the 3DS and the Wii's and all of that. So that'll be nice if whatever it is, the Switch games can just like straight up play on it, like a next gen, like how Xbox and PlayStation have done it for 4 and 5 and whatever, where you can just keep playing the games, because it sucks to move on and lose an entire library. And with Nintendo and the way they do things, like games truly get lost. So
yeah, it basically says some of the keynotes from that piece that I was reading says that the Switch Pro was at one point actually a thing, but they canceled it and decided to stick with the base Switch model. And they have been working on a new chip as well as LCD screens for a new console. But whether or not it's going to use like a higher resolution or a higher output is unknown. But it's just the processing power will likely not match what we're seeing nowadays. And Nintendo's pretty insistent that there's still a lot of life left in the Switch. That was kind of the quote. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's about time we put that old boy out to pasture, but we'll see what happens. It just, I mean, again, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, all right, like, I mean, I don't remember when did the Switch come out? 2016? So it's been 7 years. It's just, I guess this next generation of systems has really kind of surpassed it. Like what the PS5 and the Xbox Series X can do is just on such another level, and Nintendo gets by because they're Nintendo, right? All their fans will buy it. And I like Nintendo stuff, but there's that dedicated Nintendo fan base that are very much like sheep, that are just like, oh, new Zelda, let me go buy it. Like, that's what they do, you know? And it doesn't matter, you can't criticize your Nintendo
this
overlords.
Pokemon game doesn't run? I want it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like the seagulls in Finding Nemo. It's like, mine, yeah. Nintendo, like, it doesn't matter. Which, like, I get it to an extent, because it's like, you want to play games that are fun to you, but, like, I don't know, it's kind of asinine that we haven't gotten, like, a new Donkey Kong game since, like, Tropical Freeze, or, like, I mean, obviously, Super Mario Odyssey is, what, like 5 years old now or something?
I know, I wanted it so bad.
I'm just saying, like, but I guess until Nintendo's ever pushed to having to really, like, take another step forward, they're not, I mean, why would they, right? Like, there's just not as much that they really need to...
Yeah, they still sell, everything's money-driven. You can pretend to be a customer-based thing all you want. And you can be to a point, but at the end of the day, it's money and what's gonna sell, and Nintendo's gonna sell regardless of what they do.
That is true, and I don't know if you caught any of the Nintendo Direct from last week, or I think it was last week. There were definitely some pretty big announcements on that one, including a new Super Mario Brothers game called Super Mario Brothers Wonder. It's a side-scroller. I'm excited and that actually looks kind of fun.
Yeah, it's the first new 2D Mario in like 10 years, because people are like, is that really true? But yeah, it is. Everything else has been ports or like remasters of old games. So this is like the first truly new 2D Mario.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then Super Mario RPG, which is widely regarded as like one of the best fucking, like, that's getting a remake.
Oh yeah,
and
that's on my list.
Massive news, obviously. A new WarioWare, which is interesting because I feel like a new WarioWare came out a couple of years ago, like 2019 or no, it had to be like 2020. It had to be during the year of COVID, because I played it with my friends, and
something like that.
I loved WarioWare on the Game Boy, like Game Boy Advance or GameCube, like the ones you could play with up to 4 people and you have all the mini games. The new one, I mean, it had a lot of that, but it didn't let you play multiplayer with friends until you had beaten the majority of the main campaign, which is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard for a game like that. But they're making a brand new one, which looks kind of interesting. And then they also talked about Detective Pikachu. I don't know if it's like a brand new game or what the specifics are, but there is a Detective Pikachu coming out, so.
I'm excited for that one. I played some of it on the the DS, the 3DS, the first game. It's such a fun idea. I love that Pikachu's voiced by like a gruff, like deep voice. Yeah, it's just a fun time if you like Pokemon and you want like a nice like mystery game to play. Yeah, I never played Super Mario RPG, but I want to because, like you said, I've heard how good it is. And then they also had Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, so it's a 3DS port, which I do also want to play because I played the new Luigi Mansion 3 on my Switch and loved it. That was my first Luigi Mansion game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I keep saying Luigi and not
Yeah, I wanted to
Luigi's.
ask you because it made me uncomfortable, but I wasn't sure. I was just gonna let it
Luigi
go.
Mansion.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion. I want to play that. And then Princess Peach too. She's finally getting another game. I get what her only game was on the DS. Was that the last one? She got like her own game a while ago, and like that's it. But I'm glad that they're kind of like capitalizing on the possible Peach uprising after the Super Mario movie because she's way more likable in that and than in anything else, at least for me.
That's true.
So yeah, she's getting her own game next year, which is exciting. And then yeah, they did the Sonic co-op game, which also looks really cool.
Is that the Sonic? Did we talk about that one?
I don't think so.
No,
I think it was
are there 2 Sonic games coming out then? Because I feel like they showed one at the Xbox showcase that I remembered seeing as well.
Might be that one. I don't remember. But yeah, this one was like your typical old school looking Sonic, but then it became a new school looking Sonic, and then they were like, surprise, you can play with Knuckles, Tails, and Amy too. And yeah, it just looks like a fun time. The problem is all of these Nintendo games are like, hell yeah, I want to play this, but like there's so many of them, and you have to spend like full price on all of these games that you'll probably play only a few times. It's like I want to play all of these, but how do you afford that?
Yeah, I remember being. I said sounds like such a boomer here. I mean, I'm not like that old, but I remember being a kid and like playing. Like I loved so much playing like multiplayer Nintendo games with like friends. Like my friends would come over, we'd all sit there and play Mario Party or that kind of thing. Now, if I sit down to play Mario Party, with people like it's really fun for a game or two, but then I'm like, okay, like I don't know, like I just can't do it too much in one sitting. You know, I just get kind of, which is sad. But then my friends have always brought this up. Like back then, we were younger, we didn't have all these other games. We didn't have access to a massive amount of games where it was like we had to play the hell out of what we had because that was it. Now it's like, yeah. I don't know, even if you don't have a lot of money, you can go on sign up on Game Pass and get like 100-something games for $10. You got plenty of time to play. So I just think it's the way people play games has shifted, but I agree with you to an extent. I think it's I do think there's a good amount of hype and excitement, but just like I don't know, when are you going to have the time to play a lot of these, and they're expensive. At least if they're going to be charging full price. If there was a new Switch,
I still need to play the new Kirby game. That's like one of my most anticipated Nintendo games, and I still haven't played it because the value never goes down. So I just need to wait for like someone to sell it, and even then, people sell them for like $30-$40.
Yeah, which is just
it's doable. Like the games are worth it. Don't get me wrong, but like if you play a million other things on other consoles too, you gotta pay the time and pay the price.
Time is money. Speaking of money, I built this the other day. It's a Mandalorian ship. I don't remember its name, but it's from the show The Mandalorian. I went to I think it was like Hobby Lobby or something, and they had like a sale on model kits, and I was doing something with my brother and I bought this, but I thought it was kind of neat. I just wanted to show it off.
That's nice.
I still need to watch more of The Mandalorian because I've only still seen the first one. First
Speaking
season,
of watch, do you want to talk about Flash?
Yeah, sure. When did I see Flash? I've seen so many movies this month. That was a couple weeks ago.
It feels like so many movies, but
yes, Flash. CGI kind of wasn't great. I'm just giving you my Flash fire thoughts here. CGI kind of wasn't great. The opening scene was terrible. But I thought the movie picked up from there. It had a bit of comedy. It had a really interesting, as interesting as Flash's story can get in, that short amount of time. I thought Ezra Miller, despite not necessarily being a very good person, did a pretty good job playing the character. So there was, some appreciation for that, for the, the acting ability, especially playing multiple, versions of themselves, which was advertised in the trailer. So I don't even think that's a spoiler, but it was good. It was cool to see some cameos and to see some references and Easter eggs to other DC properties from the past. And I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it kind of bombed at the box office, or was considered more of a bust. Maybe not a bomb, but it didn't do what they were hoping it would do. And I think that may have more to do with just like the timing, and also knowing that like the DCU is essentially getting a hard reboot. So, what are the consequences? What is all of that? But I liked it. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I think, if Ezra Miller gets their stuff together and can stop being a mega creep, then, I would be interested in seeing them play the role in more movies going forward. But I also think the guy from the CW's Flash show, who was doing it for like 9 seasons, was pretty good too, and could be a good Flash. So if this is the end of that incarnation of Flash, then that's fine with me. But if it's not, I think there's some potential for the future there.
Yeah, I really liked it. I agree with you that the opening sequence is really bad, and people either think it's really bad or people found it funny and enjoyed it, and they're like, "Oh, it was a joke," but I'm like, I'm aware of what the joke was, but it was just bad, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go." But then, genuinely, from that point onwards, it got a lot better, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely think you should watch it if you care about DC in any respect at all, even if you've only seen Justice League or something, just because I think it's one of the better DC movies that we've got recently. Yeah, I really like Ezra Miller's interpretation of the Flash. Like you said, it's unfortunate that they're a shit person. Because yeah, I really like what they do with the Flash and that character. And like you said, just like with Moon Knight and other shows where like one person plays multiple versions of themselves, I'm still amazed every time because it looks so real.
It does.
That's like one movie thing that they've figured out, not just here, but Moon Knight everywhere, where they did it forever ago with Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. I don't know how they do it. It's
Never
just so
seen it.
cool.
Never
Really?
seen. I've
Wow.
never seen The Parent Trap. No.
That's crazy. But yeah, I love it, and when you're watching, you forget that it's the same person because they feel like two completely different characters, and they do a great job with it.
They do.
But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I would definitely I think I tweeted was that it was better than Ant-Man Quantumania, and I will stand by that. And I had a lot of people agree with me because this movie wasn't trying to make a parody of itself. So
Neither was Quantumania.
yeah, but it did. And I tried to rewatch that movie the other day just in the background, and I honestly I couldn't. I was like, I can't do it. And I've never felt that way about a Marvel movie recently. But
I don't want to rewatch it because I don't like to rewatch movies. I don't want to rewatch that. I feel like I might like
me either. But Flash was a fun time. Go see that movie. You know what else is a good movie? Elemental. I went to go see Elemental, I think 2 days ago. Yeah, on Tuesday. I don't know why. I was just like, I love Disney, obviously. I love Pixar, and I was like, this one looks cute. I want to see it. They start the movie with a Pixar short, so if you've ever gone to see them in theaters, you know what I'm talking about. They always do like a cute little Pixar animation beforehand, and this one was Carl's date.
I was gonna say it was Up, right?
Yeah, from Up. So the old man from Up going on a date, obviously post the events of Up, and my God, man, you could have just watched that short and went home, and you would have had a great movie experience. But it's Pixar, so of course they fucking broke my heart in 3 minutes, and they were like, okay, have fun, go watch this movie, and I was like, I don't want to, I want to go home. So sad. But yeah, Elemental was good. I think people are probably going to be pretty critical of it, but I had a good time. You know, it's like you watch these things, and at some point you have to go, oh, right, this is a kid's thing, because they're not making this. They're not making it for adults, but you can still find, obviously, there's quite a few, like, adult innuendos that they do, as they usually do. I think it was a good time. I like the world building they did. It was fun having them build a society based on the 4 elements that they picked.
Spoiler.
Good time. What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
That's the plot. Is like fire, water, clouds.
I thought the plot
trees.
was that like fire and water fall in love, and that like.
Well, it's Pixar.
It's Romeo and Juliet.
There's still a story. It is, so yeah, it's Pixar. Like you said, they've set it up to kind of give you the hint that there may be something with those 2 specific characters, but the movie's actually also very strongly about a theme of immigration and like family pressure and stuff, and it's good. They do a good job of telling that. Yeah.
I'll watch it when it's on Disney Plus. I didn't really want to go see it in theaters. It doesn't excite me. I like those movies a lot, and like I think there's a lot of enjoyment to be had for adults in some of those movies, some more than others. You know, obviously a lot of animated movies are like that, but then you have your animated movies like Across the Spider-Verse, which is basically appealing to everyone. And that movie is great. But I did go to the movies multiple times during the hiatus, and I actually saw Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, and
Ooh.
I loved the first Transformers movie, 2007. I thought it was fucking excellent. It was corny in a 2007 way, but it was great. It everything from the Shia LaBeouf's acting to Optimus Prime, all of it. I loved it. I think it's a fantastic movie. I know critics weren't as high on it because critics hate anything fun, but I think that was a really good movie. And then they made a second one, and the second one was okay. It wasn't bad. It was still big robots fighting each other. But then they made like a third one, a fourth. It just started to get kind of like not good. Like Michael Bay as a director, I just don't think is like making compelling storytelling, and also like yeah, it's giant robots fighting each other, so at some point you wonder whether or not you're seeing it for story or seeing it for the entertainment value. But a couple of years ago, Bumblebee came out, which was essentially
That
like a
was
reboot,
good.
and that movie was apparently excellent, and
It
had
was
really
really
good
good.
reviews. So this movie's a direct sequel to Bumblebee. You don't have to have seen Bumblebee to like know anything about it, but it's a direct sequel. This movie was really fun. Other than the first Transformers movie, it's my favorite that I've seen. I mean, they integrated a lot of the, if you see the trailers, like a lot of the beasts. I forget what they call them. They're like machinimals, but that's not the right name. I can't remember what they are, but that's definitely not what they're called. But I'm blanking on that. Maximals. That's what they are.
Machinimals.
Maximals. That's what they
That's
are.
worse. Machinimals is so much
Maximal,
better.
because they can transform, so they're robots, but they take the form of animals, and so I mean
That's cool.
the CGI and everything is fucking unreal. Like, what is his name? Optimus Primal. He's he's a monkey, and he is he's based on from the original.
If I didn't know this was real, I would think that you were making a parody script right now.
No,
and it's so
no.
great.
So when you watch the movie, you'll understand why he's called that, because his basically.
Oh no, I love it. I'm not making fun of it. I just think it's hilarious.
His race was wiped out, and so he was named after Optimus Prime, who had disappeared for years and years and years, and was basically considered to be like a great warrior or whatever. But the movie has Unicron as the main villain, who is like literally a massive villain. Like he is he eats planets. Like I don't know. I don't even know what I could project him in terms of size. Like
Galactus.
Maybe Galactus. I don't know. We've never really seen Galactus on screen in a movie, as far as I know. Maybe we did though. Maybe he was in Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer. I'm not sure. But I mean, Dormammu size. Like when you think about the scale, like he's massive. So there was a lot of really cool like visuals and kind of clashing of styles there.
What was your favorite animal?
Honestly, Primal was really cool. There was also like a bird. I forget what her name was. I think it was like Air Raid or something. And she was kind of cool. But
I saw the gorilla in the trailer, and I was like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah, he was awesome. He transforms into like his robot form, and he fights with like a staff. And they did a good job here with the human actors in the movie too, because like no one's really watching a Transformers movie for the humans. It's more so like see the big robots. But they utilized the human characters in a way that like they contributed to the story, and they weren't the center focus, but they weren't distracting from it either. And there's like a really cool scene in the movie where like one of the main human characters actually like is fighting with one of the Autobots, and then when he goes down, he like becomes a suit of armor for him. So the human starts fighting in an exoskeleton that's based on a Transformer, which is not something they've done, at least not in the movies before, but it looked really cool, and it made for like a really fun watch. So I mean, is it gonna win an award for like best storytelling? No, but it was a really, really fun movie. I would have loved to see it in IMAX because of just the spectacle of it, like how big it is. But I will definitely see a sequel when it comes out. It's supposed to be the first of a trilogy, so obviously we'll see where it goes. They did a really, really good job with it, I think. Like I said, I'm not nominating it for Movie of the Year or anything, but significant step up from a lot of the mainline Transformers movies. Obviously, other than the first one, especially much better than the fucking Mark Wahlberg ones. That's for sure. Yeah, hey Optimus. I can't do a Mark Wahlberg voice offhand, but it was good. I do recommend it if you guys if you like that kind of thing. Obviously, if you're not into like, I don't know, big epic style movies like that, you're not gonna like it. If you want like a story, go watch The Whale. But like I'm just saying, there's definitely some fun to be had there with that movie. So
The Whale looks miserable to watch.
Yeah, probably.
The guy next to me on my flight was watching The Whale, so I was playing and like watching something. I wasn't like staring at his phone, but I looked over here and there, and it never got better. Like positive wise, it just looks so sad and depressing the entire time, and really uncomfortable. Like I was uncomfortable with the few stuff I looked over to see. I was like, oh my god. I understand why that man probably won a bunch of awards, but whew.
Yeah, I think The Whale definitely was not meant to be one of those happy ending movies. It was
No,
definitely
I
meant to
don't
be like
think
one of
so.
those Oscar movies that come out
Yeah.
that like Adam Sandler had Uncut Gems and what did Liam Neeson win one for? The one with the wolf like a decade ago. I don't remember the name of it. The Road maybe, or he's like he's a hunter and his son and they have to like fight to survive. Like there's those movies that actors do that are just clearly meant to like get them an award. And that's kind of what happened with Brendan Fraser there. But good for him. By all accounts, a good guy. I love the old Mummy movies and Tarzan and stuff. But I didn't watch The Whale because it just seemed sad. And I know there
It
has
looked
to be
sad.
sad movies. I'm not like, not everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. But I choose not to engage in that medium because I don't want to feel sad either. Like, if I want to feel sad, I'll just wake up and think about, like, student debt or something. I don't need to go watch a 3-hour
Health
sad film.
insurance.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But
Have
it was
fun.
good. I don't know anything else coming out this summer for movies that were like, I can't.
There is what is oh my god, I feel like there's one thing that I should remember that I don't. Oh, Oppenheimer and Barbie next month. That's like a double feature that people are really excited about. I'm gonna see both. I'll probably see Barbie opening night with my friends because they want to see it. And then Oppenheimer seems like it's gonna be one of those fucking mind-blowing experiences. Which looks like a fun time too. There's Indiana Jones, which I don't, probably won't. I definitely. Well, I bought Showcase Subscribe, so I have to go see 2 movies a month.
You have to?
Oh yeah,
No,
I paid for it.
So you get is it 2 free? Because I've thought about signing up for it because I go to the movies a lot.
It's actually really worth it. So if you guys have Showcase Cinemas, this is not an ad, but you get to pick how many movies a month that you see. So like you pick the subscription you want and for how many people. I did 2 movies a month, and it comes out to $14, which is less than 1 movie ticket. So even if you get it and only go once, you're still saving money.
Well, isn't a movie ticket like $12.50? I mean, it's close enough.
No, because
right.
I go to not IMAX, the X Plus.
I
the
do
X
too
Plus
sometimes.
Is like $18.
Yeah.
So I usually go to the X Plus theaters. So like that's like $18, and then like I said, the subscription was definitely less than one of those tickets, and it works at IMAX, X Plus, and any of the theaters. There's no blackout dates. You just book it like normal, and you get 20% off of concession too.
Okay, so that's not a bad, because I'm one of those people that needs to buy popcorn when I go to the movies.
Oh, me too.
I don't know why.
I ate a whole bag of medium popcorn the other day. What is wrong with me?
Oh, never done that. You know what I have to say, though? Their fucking fountain soda system at the movie theaters nowadays is just rough. It always tastes so watered down. They don't refill them. I don't usually buy soda. I'll just buy a Gatorade and sneak it in my pocket or something, but it's usually just the move.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy small popcorns from now on because I think that will kill me if I keep eating that much popcorn.
Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how often you go to the movies. I once got really high before going to the movies and bought one of the big round buckets, like the big extra large one. And I was with someone, but I fairly certain I ate at least 60% of that popcorn.
See, I don't feel as bad then because
no, I just have a weird thing for movie popcorn. It doesn't taste the same when you make it at home. It's not replicatable. It's just not. I don't know if it's because it just sits just long enough in that giant fucking popcorn whatever, but I mean, not every cinema, because Apple Cinemas has horrible popcorn, but generally definitely not sponsored. But yeah, Barbie actually looks good. I kind of want to see that. I don't think it's a day one for me, but I'll probably see it on like a Tuesday.
Showcase. Sponsor us. We'll go see all the movies.
Screw it. We'll go. We can have a show that we'll do the Lord of the Rings thing, and we'll give out tickets. People can come see. We'll watch all the Lord of the Rings. Then we'll have give our thoughts in between.
It's like that lady that tries to get people to sign up for the thing. She's like, "What do you like about it? Free popcorn."
Oh,
I love her. She's there every time.
Is she really? I never saw.
No, the trailer.
Oh, in the trailer, I was like, I've never actually seen that person. Okay, I thought you were like they ask you questions. Like, I'd love to be in that intro. Like. They're like, right. I like the free stuff.
That's pretty much what they do.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. Yeah, so Barbie, Oppenheimer, I feel like I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you do.
I feel like it's like I kind of feel like there's only one way that movie ends.
That's the point, and it's going to be like really unsettling the whole time, just like waiting.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's like a biopic about like one of the most devastating events in our country, in the world's history, but I'm sure it's Christopher Nolan, so it might be good. I mean, it's got a loaded cast, too. Gary Oldman, Rami Malek, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh. Like, there's a bunch of them in there. Haunted Mansion comes out in July. That one looks kind of okay. I kind of want to see what they do with it because, like, the old Haunted Mansion wasn't necessarily scary-ish, but this one looks like they're trying to make it a little scarier, and it's got, again, another
Yeah,
loaded cast with Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson,
Rosario
Jamie Lee
Dawson.
Curtis, Rosario. Yeah, there's a lot of people in
It
that
does.
movie.
Yeah, I do want to see it. I think this one. So was it the movie, then the ride, and now this movie? Because I think this movie's based on the ride,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then the first one I think was its own story that they made the Haunted Mansion. I don't know, but yeah, like you said, it looks like it'll be a fun one to watch.
I don't know. I don't know. The Meg 2 comes out, The Trench. That one, I loved the first Meg movie. It was great. So I'm very excited for this one, and I feel like people are going to be more interested in this movie because of the submarine stuff that happened. Imagine if this movie was coming out in July. Like, imagine it was coming out, like, next week or something after this whole thing happened. Like, I just feel like that people would just be, like, all hyped about going to see this movie. Um, I don't care, but that TMNT movie looks horrible. The animation style does not look good to me at all. Have you seen the trailer? I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have. I thought it looked good.
Did you? I mean,
I like
maybe
the art style just because it's like different, trying to do its own thing.
so is Spider-Verse, but like this art style does not look. And maybe it's just because Nickelodeon has done TMNT like 4 times, and it's just been lackluster at best every time. Like I'm just not like I'm not shelling out the money to go see that, with all that. So that's really the summer, and then obviously there's like Blue Beetle, which is DC, which comes out later. I think that's like late August. That also looks good. So
Yep.
there are plenty on the way, and if you're a fan of movies and TV, I think The Witcher's next season's coming out too. So it's a busy summer. There's a lot happening.
Secret Invasion.
Yes, Secret Invasion. I haven't watched it yet. I know the first episode came out. You want to just give us like a non-spoiler thought? I'm hoping to watch it this week, but
Yeah, it was good. The tone's different than some of the past Marvel stuff, which is, I mean that in a good way. Like it feels a little bit more serious. Um, and it's just a fun concept to explore with the scrolls and the fact that literally anyone can be a scroll. So like the whole time you're just kind of like, is that person a scroll? Like it's just like it's very there's no, you don't know anything. So it's a fun feeling you have while watching it and trying to figure things out. I only saw the first episode, but it was good. I'm excited to see where it goes. They have a pretty good cast. They got Emilia Clarke for the show, which she's Daenerys from Game of Thrones, probably most notably.
never seen it. Never seen
Cool.
Game of Thrones, but I've heard it's good. It's so long.
It is very
Who's
long.
got time to
I
watch
joined
that?
late. I joined very late. Like I think I only watched the last season live as it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I binged that shit. It was fire. And now my cat's named after Game of Thrones.
Your cat was named after Star Wars.
She has both. Her full name's Rhaenyra, which is from Game of Thrones.
True.
House of the Dragon, and then Rey for short.
Something Negroni with a little prosecco or something. That's from that show,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I remember the trend. Well, we are nearing up we're getting close towards I think our end time here. Because there's still probably stuff we didn't even get into. The one last thing I wanted to quickly touch on, just because I know this is obviously near and dear to you, is the Star Wars story that's going to be coming out, or more details on Daisy Ridley's return to Star Wars, and it seems like Rey is going to be mentoring a couple of children, or boy and a girl, I think, if I read that correctly. And there's some people who think that like it's going to be like a Padawan type situation. I think this is set after Episode 9.
Yeah, it is. It's 15 years in the future.
Which is interesting because I'm much more intrigued by what happened in the after, like what I'd like to see how they got the new.
I'm sure we will, but
maybe.
Whether it's in her movie with flashbacks or more content.
Yeah, I'm curious whether or not I like Daisy Ridley. I think she's a good Rey. I have noticed online, even in response to this most recent thing, people are like, all 3 sequels are terrible, like all this stuff. People just hate on Rey as a character as a whole. I don't really know why. Nor do I care. Do I think she was perfectly written? No, absolutely not. I definitely think there are valid criticisms for those movies, and I think there's valid criticisms for Rey as a character, but I mean, I just feel like some people are like, well, she's not Luke, so I don't care. Like, I don't know. I mean, does she have some moments of genericness that, in terms of, not genericness, but like powers or plot devices that I think they relied on a little bit too much? Sure. And did they not use Finn enough in the movies? Also agree. But, I don't know. She was good. I thought she played the role well, and a lot of the criticisms that they had were like similar things that like Luke. She did similar things that Luke did. I mean, episode 7 is essentially a retelling of episode 4 if you look at it that way. Like, I don't know where people's criticisms come from, but as someone who's an avid Star Wars fan, are you optimistic about the movie? I mean, like, so let me ask this question because I know you're gonna like, and I don't mean this as a flame. I just mean I know you're typically going to be like into any new Star Wars content. Do you think that the movie is gonna be like something that A, they should make, and B, do you think it's like gonna be the start of something new? Or do you think it's actually gonna do well, or do you think it's like more of a money grab? Where do you kind of stand on it?
I'm sure it's a money grab for some people in the company, but I'm sure it's also like genuinely a passion for other people. Because like I can only imagine myself working there and just like getting to do that. I'm sure there's like genuine people that want this to succeed.
Yeah.
I welcome all the content all the time, but I know what you mean. I don't know. I think they probably could have ended it here just because I think there's, like you said, there's already criticism of the character. So like there's like a little bit of spite in them making that, which I do like because they're just like, fuck it. Like there is love for this character and there's a story here. And obviously there is because like we're the furthest, I think we're the furthest we've been in the Star Wars timeline with her. So like it'll just be cool just to see where they're going to be taking it and how things have changed and where the Jedi are ending up because like we have so much history from the past up until now. Yeah, I don't know. I think it can be really cool. Obviously they can fucking destroy it and make it really bad, but I'm hopeful.
All right.
That do be the theme is hope.
That's true. And I sort of asked that question the way I did because I know that for you, like you're like me, like I don't know, like certain things, certain Marvel, so I just want the content. I just want to see new stuff.
Yeah, I want it to do well, and if people don't want to watch it, then like don't.
But my thought is,
you love forever.
Do we need to make another movie with Rey, or not? Do we need to? Does it make sense to? Is it going to start another? Is it going to start a new trilogy?
Anything in
is
the
it going to
future?
Move? Yeah.
Would automatically bring criticism on what happened to Rey.
I guess that's
Even
true.
People that don't want to hear it, they'd be like, "Well, what happened at the end? Like, why did this trilogy happen? Like, what happened? Where's Rey now? Where'd she go? Is she in hiding? Like, they
are there other Jedi? Yeah, like,
yeah, for not doing anything. And they set up those movies to show that they're still Force sensitive kids. So yeah, I think it could be cool because we got to see very little of Luke's school. So like it'd be cool to see a school for Jedi in another way. Unless
she ends up becoming a villain and like slaughters a bunch of the younglings or something, which is possible.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't do another forced romance thing like they did with her and Kylo. I hope that whatever it is we end up doing. I want him to come back
to life.
I don't think that's gonna happen. Palpatine probably will come back to life 4 more times, but
people would hate it, but like I would not mind it being like he's dead, but like Force Ghost talking to her like throughout her entire journey. I love that personally, but
it'd be
it's
interesting. Hey, I can't do the Adam Driver voice. I don't know if you've ever seen the SNL sketch where that Adam Driver was on with the the Knight's Fair, the nut where he's like the knight, he's the red knight and he's dressed up and they're doing like oh my god, I gotta send it to you, it's really funny. He was amazing on SNL if you never saw it. I think I watched his SNL when he was the undercover boss and all of that. That one was funny. He's like, guys, I gotta tell you something. Yeah, you're Kylo Ren, we know. He's like, what do you think of Kylo? He was like, well, I think he's kind of a
Look at
bitch.
This lightsaber.
He's just like, I just got Kylo's lightsaber.
Bitch.
No, I'll send you that sketch because it's so funny. But I think Adam Driver is great. I wish he was in more comedic stuff sometimes because I just think he's got such a natural level of comedy. But all right, well. Heck of a show. We covered a lot of topics. So if you guys listen to this later on or watching on YouTube, which all the episodes, that's basically my last thing here. We officially have a YouTube channel now for the show. It is Uncharted Horizons PC. Unfortunately, Uncharted Horizons was taken, and it made sense to just have it match what Twitch has. So I just went ahead and made it the same. For the first couple weeks of being live on both platforms, the new episodes are going to air on my YouTube channel first, just because there's more of a following, so there might be more people who check it out and are interested. But as we move forward with the channel, I'm going to start putting all of the every episode over time is going to be on there. I lost a few video files for some of the older episodes, not a lot, but a few. And for those, what I'll likely do is just take the MP3 and make it into a fancy, thing and upload it, so at least everything is there on YouTube. But I have clips from a lot of the shows. We have stuff from all that, and then obviously, like I've mentioned on Twitter, we could do a little bit of like original content from time to time. Maybe like a 5-minute video, like Nicole makes a video talking about like something she saw or a game she played, or myself, or vice versa. Like we'll put it on YouTube, and there'll be some like YouTube exclusive content for you guys that like check out the channel. So obviously more details on that a little bit when we get there. But yeah, so check it out. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy it. Hopefully, you guys like the new look. We've gotten a bit of a facelift here. Everything has been redone. I was happy to come back with that. Yeah. So subscribe to the channel, and
yeah, do that.
Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and definitely let us know in the comments section if you're watching this on YouTube later or Twitch or whatever. Like I wanted people's thoughts on like any of the topics that we talked about, like turn-based RPGs and why they suck. I'm just kidding. That's a hot take, but thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.